All right, my boy Nick Kim.
Oh,
welcome to the pod.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming by, mate. Cheers.
It's long overdue, to be honest. It's just
cheers.
we took a little hiatus because life got in the way. But
100%.
But yeah, it's awesome to.
We're here. We're here, baby.
Yep. So let's start off in usual Eddie Pod fashion.
Yeah.
I got here a deck of cards. This deck of cards is actually sent to me by a subscriber of mine on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Back in a few years back.
Yeah.
And every single card is a different card from a casino in Vegas, right? And you can actually look this at, like, I'll show you after if you want. They're legit casinos. These are actual cards you'd get in a gift shop where they cut the corners so you can't like cheat with them back in, you know what I mean? So yeah, they're all legitimate, like different casinos and hotels and stuff.
Oh, wow. Just kind of, how many cards in the deck of card?
52 without the jokers.
Right. So there's like 52 casinos.
Yeah, potentially. I haven't double checked. Some of these are from the same casino but different color.
Gotcha.
But essentially they're all kind of different.
Right.
So let me see. I'll make a couple predictions here, and then we can get into this. Okay, that one, and I reckon. Okay, so actually we'll go face up so you can see those. So I want you to take the deck in your hand.
How should I
like
hold
just like you deal a deck of cards.
Because I'm a little bit scared because you're gonna freak me out again.
No, you're all right. You're all right. So I want you to just like just where the camera starts, right? So it'll be like at the edge of that purple bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Just deal down cards like one by one.
Face up.
Face down. Yeah.
Face down.
And then whenever you feel like it, I want you to stop, but keep going. Like it should be just in a one pile. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And then whenever you feel like it, just stop. And I will, I will essentially, this is my prediction for you. Okay. But we won't, so just stop on top. Yeah. So you're happy there?
Yeah, I'm happy with this.
Okay. We'll just mark that, right? So that'll be the first prediction.
Yeah.
I want you to put the whole deck on top. Yep. Cool.
This?
Yep. Pick everything back up and do the same thing again. And then whenever you feel like you want to stop, completely up to you. It's your decision. I don't want to influence you in any way. Are you happy?
Yep.
Okay. Second prediction. Yeah. Put the deck on top. Yep. And then just slide everything to me. Yep. Perfect.
I don't want to.
Nah, you're good. You're good. 100%. So let's just like kind of think about what happened, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of random casino cards in this deck. Actually, I'll leave it down just because my instinct is when I look at you in the eyes, I have now time to do fancy shit. But if I'm not touching the deck, I can't, right?
Yeah.
So let's just recap, right? There was two cards I sort of pulled out at the start, and then you picked where to stop.
Mm-hmm.
We marked that spot twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's just see like what the situation is, right? I'm going to spread the deck. Hopefully it's all visible. Okay. So we can see there is one situation here.
Where's the other card?
And then one situation here.
Sweet.
Okay. And I'll just pull these back for now, just so that they're on camera. Okay. Now, pretty impressive if these like predictions match, right? I'd say like if that is also another jack, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know what the odds of that. I'm not a statistician, but like one pair is pretty good. A second pair is better. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing about this is that the fronts match, but the backs also match.
What?
So that's pretty interesting. And you stopped wherever you wanted, and you were handling the deck. And you could have stopped anywhere in the pack, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is those were the only red cards in the whole pack.
Get out of here.
So I don't know how that happened really, and you can check those out if you want. Go ahead and take a look.
Bro. Like, oh man, I don't even know where to look. Like, it's just, bro.
I'm sure you can rewatch it and figure it out, but for now, you just got to live with the magic for the next couple hours.
Man, it's gonna bug me, because like I've seen you do so many magic stuff over the years, right?
Yeah.
And like every time I see it, like I feel like it's like Jiu Jitsu, right? Your games are evolving, like your magic is evolving every time.
Well, it's also the fact that the way to do, like, how you teach like, okay, let's say you run a class on armbar.
Yeah.
And even the brand new guy that initially didn't know the armbar, and he's just like letting his elbow past the center.
Yeah.
As soon as you go, hey, for the armbar, we need the elbow past the center.
Yeah.
The beginner guy's like, oh, light bulb moment.
Yeah.
He never lets that elbow go past the center. And now it's actually kind of hard to armbar the guy, even though he's only got one class.
Yeah.
Because he knows what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like, I'll do a trick, but then I'm not going to do the same concept again.
Sure.
I'll use something else. So every time you have a fresh ability to like try to like identify what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even if it's the same trick, I'll use a different method. So to you, it looks identical. Like the card went from the middle to the top.
Yeah.
But the method is completely different. So even if you figured out the first one, you don't figure out the second one. You don't figure out the third one. That's part of it, you know?
It honestly like freaks me out a little bit. Like, it's like, man, because you showed me the cards, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, the back of it changes. And it's like, oh, man, how did he do that? I'm sure, like, he didn't even touch the cards. Like, crazy. So I still remember the first day when when I saw you do a magic trick.
Okay.
I don't know, like, you were big into magic until that day, which was we were in Newmarket after a sesh.
Was this Paolo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it was about, how long was that?
There's a video of this online.
Online, right?
Yeah.
I was freaking the fuck out, right? Oh, can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Okay. I tend to not swear, but okay, I'll try. Anyways, just scared the, life out of me. I was like, what? How did he do that? And then I found out that you were super into magic and all this. And one day we were sitting at the old Curry's Lane, and then you were doing a trick with Maddie and stuff. I'm like, I was there. I was just watching. I was like, did a trick on me as well. I'm like, man, scary. It's like, man, Ed's not the person to F around with,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's really the illusion of what's happening, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, the situation is so well constructed. It's almost like an Aikido choreography, you know?
Right.
It's like, I know exactly, like, it's not because you don't know what you should do.
Sure.
Right? But I know that there's only like 10 things people do.
Right.
So it's like, if I just do that thing enough, there's only so many things you're going to try to figure out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're either going to try to grab it out of my hands. You're going to try to like, oh, but what if that happens? Or there's only so many things that can really go wrong. And so if you do that thing, like if you're in that situation 1,000 times and then one person sees it for the first time, it seems like, oh my God, it's a superpower.
But it means that you've got like 10 answers for
sometimes, sometimes, not every time.
Wow.
Yeah, but sometimes.
So do you like hope that, he doesn't pick this option, kind of like that?
So there are certain routines where that is a very central mechanism.
Right. So do you lead people into that as well?
Again, sometimes. So it's like when typically what will happen is when you feel like I'm leading you, I don't give a shit.
Right.
If you feel like I don't give a shit, chances are I'm leading you.
Yeah.
Like that's usually how it goes because it's like where you draw like tension, It's like if I your eyes just looked at the card because my body language is looking at the card. But if I'm like this,
gotcha.
Like you don't care about this card right now.
Right.
But I care more about this card now than I did here.
Sure.
Because otherwise I wouldn't be acting like this.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the times I'm switching it on you. I'm trying to make you think the opposite,
I wonder if we can use it in our roles. Grab the belt.
I mean, to be honest though, like but people asked me that before.
Yeah.
But it's like ingrained in the art, So like deception is part of it. You know how when you feint a toreando and you go the other way, like that is what is happening.
Yeah.
There are literally, I've done this before when I taught toreando where I did a coin trick.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're conditioning them left and right. And then on one time you don't pass the coin across, but because they're conditioned to see it go back and forth and it looks identical, they're going to believe it's in this hand.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the toreando. You make them believe you're going that way, they overpummel and they've overcommitted.
So I actually attended one of Joe's classes during lunchtime and kind of like blew my mind away a little bit because a lot of times when we like look to pin somebody down from side control, right, we look to get the far underhook and a big crossface, right? And that's just kind of the old school. And it's just how if you want to pin somebody down from side control or control somebody from there, get the far, get the crossface, get the underhook, right?
Yeah.
But the meta is now that he's talking about like everybody expects that, and they have defenses or they have work around it. On the class that I attended, Joe was saying, "Oh, why don't we start looking at going for the near side underhook, and start to build on that because now everybody's conditioned to kind of protect the far underhook. What about the near underhook? We start to build our games a little bit differently." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's haven't really crossed my mind, right? Because for the number of years I've done jiu-jitsu and like MMA, it's just like, oh, it's always, if you're on top, just get the underhook on the far side. But now, I'm like excited to try next week, on the underhook side, and the Albany boys. So,
all right, before we get ahead of ourselves, so you are like one of my oldest training partners.
Sure.
I don't even know. I remember the moment you started gi jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And I remember our first roll actually in the gi jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And my thing was like, oh, this guy's a new guy, but he doesn't feel new.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize you had trained MMA and no gi quite a long time and stuff. But yeah, there was like that always that competitive thing where it's like, I should be able to beat this guy, but what the hell's going on? Because he seems like he knows shit that like what's, and it didn't compute until way later. I'm like, oh, okay. He'd actually trained a long time, but you know how like white belt ego is like, fuck man, like I'm getting beat. Like I'm like a one stripe. Like what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like There's that was always like a thing, you know, until you realize like that shit doesn't matter at all. But I feel like it really matters until like you get the blue. And then you realize it doesn't matter. But those few stripes at the start, they're like everything
to you. It's like a battle, bro. It's like, he's got a stripe, I don't. What's going on?
Yeah.
Did he put his stripe like by himself? I don't remember him putting.
Yeah. Did he get a stripe?
We all know a guy. We shall name him, but we all know a guy.
Actually, you need to tell me because I don't know.
I'll tell you. Okay. Bro, it's ridiculous because we started. Anyways, I'll tell you after.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we've been training a long time together. And I always knew like you had a like really good job, you know, as an architect. Architect, right?
Legally, I can't call myself an architect yet.
Okay.
I haven't been fully registered, but I'm on the pathway. So, so in New Zealand, if you want to become a like registered architect, there's two ways. Like you work your ass off and you get enough experience, and you're kind of invited into the club, kind of thing, or alternative, like the easiest way is to get your master's from an architecture school, finish that, and then you're kind of on the pathway. So you kind of work a full-time job in an architectural team or office or firm, and you build your experience and build your
You're
projects
essentially
and
doing
case
the
studies.
same stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's just like maybe with oversight or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And then essentially you just can't sign off the drawings, right? And then just get your whatever you're drawing or you're producing, you just need to be peer reviewed by a registered architect or someone senior.
Gotcha.
Alternatively, you can go through what we call the LBP route, which is licensed building practitioners.
Yeah.
So that you don't need like an actual academic pathway to put yourself into it. You just need work experience. Ideally, like a degree would be good, like a technician degree or whatever, just so that you understand how to draw things accordingly. Like nowadays, it's like pick a right pen thickness, but back in the days, it would have been like picking up the right pencil length or pressure, because obviously if you've got the same pen, it's how you draw it lightly versus how you press it hard to make it more thicker. So it's kind of,
but it's like digital now, I'm assuming.
But it's very digital now, so everything's like picking up the right clicks, I guess. But so the reason why you separate different line weights is to differentiate the depth or the importance of what the material is, or
that makes sense.
Signify it differently. So.
Trying to read for that styling business, trying to read architectural drawings. I think I've sort of figured that out because I'm like, clearly they've got some system. I don't know what the hell it is, and I'm trying to like decipher the like the little like keys or whatever. This is this thing. I'm like, trying to squint my eyes. But no, that's cool. So like I always knew you had like a cool sort of career path or whatever. And me being like an ADHD guy, I'm always like, I'm not. I don't get jealous of people's accomplishments. I get jealous of the person they are to enjoy a certain job. You know what I mean? Because I can only do things I enjoy. I can't do something I find boring. And so I'm like, man, like I have friends who like love coding, and I'm like, why couldn't I be like that, bro? You know what I mean?
Something like very productive.
Yeah, why can't I love something useful? You know, I just like shuffling cards and fucking choking people. Like fuck, you know? So I always felt that like, you know, oh, like I kind of like envy that kind of brain you have, you know. I'm like, oh man, that'd be so cool to like be like excited about and but then like over the years I would like hear you like, oh man, I'm so stressed. So stressed. You know, and I'm like, ooh, like maybe it's not so like rosy, you know. And then now you've made the move. Fuck that shit. I'm opening a jiu-jitsu gym, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you know, it's not as rose colored as it seems from the outside. Or,
right.
You know,
I mean, I enjoyed my architecture roles and my jobs. I think what I loved about doing architecture or working in the industry was that there's like you put a real hard work at something for a number of months or a number of years, depending on what kind of project you do, and then just to see the final product or final step of what you're producing, like I think that's just cool. Like putting all that hour to kind of fine tune something and then to see a finished product, I think that's cool. So I enjoy the process of preparing for the comp or preparing for something like jiu-jitsu, right? Like for me, I enjoy the process of like preparing the comp rather than the actual comp day.
I can't.
I just don't perform as well as how I would during the. I think it's the mental thing as well, but I don't know. It's just I enjoy the process rather than the actual the product that's finished or on the day that you have to perform.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so yeah, I enjoyed my architecture role. I loved it, but obviously, like life changes, circumstances changes, economy changes, and things are not as what it was. And I think the biggest thing for me in the last couple of years was the birth of my son. So like having a kid kind of really changed our perspective. Like me and my wife, kind of we both think, oh, actually, it's not just about like career progression and things like that. And of course, like money is important, and being able to put bread on the table is very important. But for us, we just thought, sometimes we can take it, dial it back a little bit and just reflect on what we have. So for us, I think the biggest thing was being able to spend time with our little one, just being able to spend time with them and see his growth. And I think, apparently like the first 3 years of kids' development, the connection with their parents is very important. So for us, we aimed that, but now we're just sending off to daycare because I mean, there's a reason why we're sending off daycare. So we're only sending him about 2 or 3 days per week, just because he's just getting bored at home, like spending time with me. Like there's just limiting that what we can do. I will take him to like mall, we'll take him to the park and things like that. But I think it's important that he can mingle with,
like socialize
and things like that. Yeah. So, and he loves it. Like we took him to the daycare and just like, he didn't even know that I left there. Like he was on the toys like straight away.
Oh man, my first, like my first day at kindergarten, basically I cried the whole time. Yeah. And then, for like a week or two, I was like vomiting from stress because I was like, when's my mum coming back? What the fuck? I felt like abandoned or something. So that's cool that,
So only like after the day was finished, when we go pick him up, he starts crying because he missed us. But I was like, other than that, like he apparently had a really good day and stuff. So we only like started sending him about 2 weeks ago, and I think it's just been really good for us to kind of spend our own little time, but at the same time, that Theo can, my little son can spend his little time with his friends and stuff as well. So it's good in that perspective. Anyways,
that's interesting because most people with that have a kid, they go double down on like find like, oh, we need to like make sure we have money, like, you know what I mean? They double down on career almost, it seems, because they're like, like now I got a responsibility. Whereas I guess your point of view was more like, well, money's great and you need it obviously, but like relationship is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We're still always, everyone's going to be always short of money,
100%,
right?
100%.
Right. And like,
but it is a risk, like to open a business right then, right? Like from the outside, it could be considered quite risky, right?
I mean,
like it's not something that's like people if they're thinking from a safety perspective, they probably don't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like if we were really concerned about money and our focus was on money, like I wouldn't quit my full-time job, and Alice wouldn't have quit, like, you know, probably would have returned to work much sooner than what we anticipated. But just for us, it's kind of like we could be dead tomorrow, you know. We would rather spend more time with our family rather than the money. Yeah, I mean, it's finding that right balance, right? And I think we're trying to find feet in that. Don't get me wrong, like you know, money's always good, and like it's the more we have, I think it's 100%. They say more money, more problem, but I don't think so. I don't know. More, less money is more problem. So
I think past a certain point,
exactly, right?
Because then everyone's like, you know, taking you to court for dumb shit, and you're like,
true.
You know, we've had some clients, like really rich clients, that just like their neighbors are just like, your lawn is overhanging ours for like, you know, by 3 centimeters. Lawsuit, you know, you're like, oh geez, bro, like,
they got nothing more better.
Yeah, straight up, like, but they're like all got Porsches and you know, Lambos and stuff, but they're worried about the lawn being 3 centimeters over. I'm like, oh my god, you know.
Anyways, so that's kind of why we decided to, you know, had a good chat with Joe about it. And like, obviously, like, Joe's my coach, and you know, it's been a kind of like a mentor to me as well. And sit down with him. He's like, hey, this is what's gone on my mind, and you know, because I always wanted to open up a gym at some point, but I thought that would be something in my 60s or 50s, you know, like where I'll probably be less worried about money. But now it's just been a real good opportunity, and I just felt like it was the right time. And I happened to come across this this lease that we're leasing now, and it's just kind of like perfect what we were looking for, like in terms of space, in terms of location and things like that, and what the facility had to offer. So it's like, oh man, I felt like I was going to regret it if I don't take this jump now. So even though we were short on money a little bit, so like, let's take the bullet. After having a chat with Alice and my wife, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. She's cool, you know, like she's really supportive about it.
That's awesome.
And she knows the passion that I have for Jiu Jitsu as well. And yeah, you should do it. Totally do it. She's like, don't worry, I'll make the money. I'm like, sweet. So that's kind of how it started. And then just, you know, had a chat with Joe about it, and to get his, you know, I kind of went over to him asking for his blessing and stuff like that. And yeah, he was all supportive. You know Joe. You know, he's
I love that's such a Korean way to put it. Asking for his blessing.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
It's kind of like,
yeah, no, I get you.
You know
I get you 100%.
Yeah, so I went and just asked him, hey, you know, would it be cool? Would it be okay with you, me opening up a gym? You know, obviously, because he has only given me my black belt about a year and a half in. So I was like, man, don't want to be like a person that.
Yeah, the wrong impression.
Yeah. Just don't want to give him the wrong impression. Be like, I got the belt and I'm out of here. Because we know somebody that's done that. And like, he doesn't get the good rep, you know. So I'm like, not from our gym, by the way. It's just someone that we know of
in general. Yeah.
In general. So like, you know, because I live up to a good standard in life, and like, you know, not to cross people and things like that. Try to live a good moral standard, and I thought it was the right thing to have a chat with them first and get his blessing and to start something new. And you know, even to have the Syzygy name in an Albany location, like it's huge for us. So yeah, happy with the gym, how it turned out. Bit of a process, bit of a
talk to me about it, because this is we were talking about just before the thing, right? But I've also been kind of coaching a new cohort. So I guess so I started coaching at Massey Uni. Their grappling club, and they just had the club open day that they do for uni.
Which I saw the video.
And so I was like, well, you know, if you guys need me to come through and help promote or whatever, like hit me up or whatever. And I was like, bro, we should, like, if I'm here, we might as well do something. So I was like, okay, what's like a Helio, because Helio Gracie to me was like the greatest marketer to ever live. You know what I'm saying? So it's
still
like,
their name is still is.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, like what challenge can I put out where I know I won't lose? And it's kind of a bullshit challenge because of reasons we'll discuss. But it seems really impressive if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And I was like, all right, well, I would be very surprised if someone can pin me for 30 seconds. And I was like, unless there's like a fucking national level heavyweight judoka coming through,
I was gonna ask you.
then I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, we'll be fine, you know? And then I rock up and they're like, oh yeah, should we like give them like, you know, like a 3-year membership or something? And I'm like, if they can pin me for 30 seconds, why would they think they want a membership to our club? Like, it makes no fucking sense, right? Don't worry about it. I'll put my money up. So I put my own money up. And I was like, $50.
Put the way money mouth.
Yeah, 100%. You know, otherwise what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually gathered a pretty decent like turnout in terms of crowd, people watching, people trying, you know. And then the people that tried all had to sign an app to like the waiver.
Gotcha.
But then that was also the signing in for the club.
So
you know, yeah. So it was actually perfect. It was actually perfect. And we got quite a few people that then showed up to the to the club and stuff afterwards. But yeah, in terms of why that's a bullshit challenge is because. So like we had this guy that was clearly like a, you know, real big Polynesian dude.
Sure.
Probably played rugby or something.
Yeah.
And he puts me in side control first and I do my little like tip over and I get on top. Cool. He goes, can I go again? I'm like, all right, sure. And then the next one, he puts me in a body lock.
Right.
And I was like, how the fuck do you know that? I was like, alarm bells go in my head, you know? And I'm like, I can't roll him from here. I can't get my knee back in from here. So I just turtled and then got up.
Yeah.
Which again, this is why it's bullshit. Because if you can turtle to get out of a pin, unless you're like an expert at pinning, like you're not going to hold people down, you know?
It's so hard. It's so hard to pin somebody down when they have,
exactly. Like if turtling is an option, then it's kind of bullshit, you know? So anyway, and then I got up and it was fine. And then I talked to him. He's had an MMA fight.
Yeah.
So that's why he knew the, you know?
Right.
I was like, okay, cool, cool. I was like, how did it go? He's like, I knocked him out. I was like, sweet. That's great, bro. That's awesome.
Or any grappling.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you know, you don't need to pin people. But yeah, so that was cool. You know, it was like, I had an idea. I was like, oh, this would be a cool thing to do. I wish we had more footage, but you know, the boys were like busy answering questions and shit.
Nice.
But I was surprised that like the sort of quote unquote guerrilla marketing, whatever you want to call it, actually kind of worked. So we got a pretty decent chunk of new guys coming in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, now I gotta like somehow teach these.
Entice them.
No. But like, how do you get someone from zero
right, gotcha.
to something?
Sure.
And you know how it goes, like everyone goes like flight or fight mode.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, like now you're pulling hair, like guys, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like this whole, yeah. It's just like people just, there's all the memes about, you know, like betting on white belt matches because they're just going crazy, you know? So yeah, anyway, my point is how you're finding that aspect because I'm definitely struggling.
Well, so my background, I don't actually have a sports degree or I don't have a coaching degree or anything like that. Or I've learned how to train
yourself.
Yeah, train myself or be trained, be taught, but I've never been, obviously I've coached here and there and at our HQ, but haven't really formed a team of my own. It's different for sure. You know, jiu-jitsu, I think, to converse the idea of the principles, the concept, but also the technique, not the easiest thing, because you do things because it's kind of like you're engraved in your program to do, but trying to teach that with words and articulate it in a way that they can digest to understand, very difficult, right?
And I feel like sometimes, sorry to interrupt, I feel like I have a tendency, it's like, oh, well, I was taught this, so let me just regurgitate it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, maybe that's not actually the way I learned the concept.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I remember hearing this, but then I don't think that that's actually what happened, that I ended up doing the thing. So that's
and sometimes
also
you have to like
struggle.
go against the grain, right? Like maybe, this, like you said, like I said previously, like, oh, if you're pinning somebody from side control, you always have to get a cross face and the side control. It's not the case, right? Sometimes you
always fall to overhook side on the back.
Exactly, right? So I think it's the courage to go sometimes, you know, do something that's not taught traditionally. You know, anyways, teaching, building up a new club, a new team. It has its joys and it has its struggles, you know, because every single day you're having a new person come in, which is good, but at the same time, if you have some experienced people, because we do have some experienced people joining our new new location. So if people from other gyms are coming through and just checking out the facility and checking out us as a team, and work circumstances, life circumstances, they've moved around and things like that. So they're joining us, or they haven't trained for a long time. They're coming back, and you've got purple belts, blue belts, and mixed bags of levels. So I can't always just teach shrimping every single time when a new person comes, right? It's just finding that right balance, and like when do you like progress, and when do you like tailor it to the beginners. So I've been designing the class or the modules at the moment, because we teach in modules, trying to kind of cater it towards the beginners. And I think it's a good reminder for experienced people as well, just to kind of revisit some of the basic stuff and basic jiu-jitsu and principles and concepts. So for them, they're picking a lot of those principles rather than the actual technique, whereas the beginners are picking up both at the same time. So it's a win-win, I think, in that aspect. So that's what we're trying at the moment. So we've just finished our passing module, and just going through our side control. Oh, we've done guard module first, because guard's important, I think, and it is important. And then passing, and then side control. So like looking at pinning, and so then we'll probably look to like do mount and back together, and then from there we'll reassess how the club's going and how people are learning and things like that, review that, and then probably look at other different modules to come in. But yeah, it's been a fun journey, and it's just kind of going back again to the old days where like, what would I have appreciated if I was a white belt and somebody was teaching me jiu-jitsu? So I'm trying to look at it in that perspective. So trying to teach things that are actually efficient and that work, instead of not like omoplatas work, but like flying omoplatas, would they really work? Or flying armbars, would that work? Just really like basic, simple things that are helpful in their jiu-jitsu journey. So trying to teach those as much as I can. And I think, getting a lot of good feedback because I always ask for feedback as well to my students, and be like, hey, is there anything that you don't understand? Well, how is the curriculum? How's the module? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? And at the moment, it's been pretty positive response. So yeah, really cool. We've got some good guys coming up, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Is there any challenges that you, I guess, didn't anticipate, as you know what I mean, in terms of building it? Like you're saying, you got to build a team. It's not just teach jiu-jitsu, right? It's like you got to like build a community, build the vibe, set the standard. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's I guess it's like a slightly different. When you're coming up, it's easy to just be like, you just know good jiu-jitsu and then you teach good jiu-jitsu. But when you actually kind of need to manage egos and you manage people, like people are complicated. Is there any challenges you find that you didn't expect?
I think like setting up good culture, I think it's good. Like gym culture is pretty good. Like everybody's pretty relaxed, and I think there's no egos. But I think from a business perspective, like trying to get more people in and like just let people know who we are. Like we've found this new location in Albany. That's the hard bit. But other than that, when we have new people coming in, usually they stay. So I think it's a good testament that I'm doing something right. It's just getting new people to come in is a tricky part. But I just don't have experience in sports business before. So trying to learn things from people that have done it in the past, or just learning from YouTube and and trying to meet business
from AI.
mentors. Yeah.
Hey, what could I be doing better?
yeah.
Well, you should. Yeah.
But other than that, challenges, just pretty good, I reckon. It's just about playing the long game, I think, because jiu-jitsu is such a niche sport, and I think the beginning hurdle's really difficult. It's like one of those things where people tell you, oh man, watch this series, but the first 2 seasons sucks. But you have to watch the first 2 seasons in order for you to understand season 3, 4, 5, and 7, right? It's kind of like that, right? Season 3, 4, 5 is amazing, but you have to watch 1 and 2. Just bear with it and hold it out,
Yeah, so and think about how hard that sell is.
Yes.
Like if you tell me there's a show I need to watch, but the first two seasons suck.
Yeah.
There's a pretty low chance I'm watching that fucking show, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like my biggest, like even like The Walking Dead, I'm like, bro, the pilot episode is the best episode I've ever seen.
Yeah,
If you watch that and you don't like it, don't watch anything else.
Sure.
And people still don't watch the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, like, you know what I mean? So it is a pretty tough sell. But I think there's still like other benefits outside of the skill level. You know what I mean? Because jiu-jitsu becomes fun once you can have that once it becomes a conversation. But jiu-jitsu is very fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can sort of, it does become that blitz chess game. You know, where you're like, I'm throwing this, but then he's doing that, and I'm fainting, like the magic trick, right? Sure. I'm feinting this way to go that way. He bit it.
Yeah.
And then, but shit, no, never mind. He's underhooking my leg or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whereas at the start, it's just like, try something, doesn't work. Try something, doesn't work. Try something, doesn't work. Like, fuck, like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah. We had that for like first 6 weeks, I think. But now people that have kind of like being consistent and being training, they're like actually starting to roll and starting to understand positions now and their objectives or what I should be doing in certain position. So they're actually I like to see when students have those light bulb moments. I'm like, oh man, you get it. You get what I'm talking about. And that's the pure joy I find in jiu-jitsu, like, especially for kids, like, oh, this is the reason why we do this. And they're like, really? Try it. And then they do it. And like, oh, this is so cool. It's like, oh yeah. You get what I get now.
Yeah. We're speaking the same language.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, that's so cool. For me personally, that's why I find most joy when teaching jiu-jitsu, and that's the goal for us as Syzygy, or at least in Albany, is trying to pass on the good things that I learned through jiu-jitsu, whether it be meeting new great people, being able to find yourself, your confidence and self-esteem and things like that, and being able to achieve like competition level kind of training and competition accomplishments. That's what I want to push out. So all the good things that I learned or absorbed through the years of jiu-jitsu or the training that I have, I want to like replicate it, and I want to pass it on as much as I can, and not to dilute it, but even make it even better and pass it down. So that means that I've got to continuously train, continuously try to learn, continuously find ways to make techniques better or make it better in terms of delivery, teaching and things like that. So, I love it. Like, new lifestyle, definitely. Being able to like go to work at 4:00 in the afternoon instead of when you clock off. Different, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of the benefits. Why did you start jiu-jitsu? And then I guess in a follow-up, like, how do you sell? Like, you kind of brushed on it, but how do you? Because it is a tough sell. You know, it is a tough sell to people. So how do you sell it to people?
So I've been doing a bit of the door-to-door kind of thing, and like, hey, we've just opened up, especially around the business around. We're like, hey, we've just opened up this place, jiu-jitsu like school. Hey, do you guys want to, happy to have your staff and team to come in and check it out, And I'll always be like, oh, have you heard about jiu-jitsu? They're like, nah. Some people are actually quite funny though. People actually know what jiu-jitsu is now these days. But when I started back in the days, they're like, oh, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. What's that? Like, jiu-jitsu? Like, you always get that UFC conversation going.
They'll make vague karate gestures at you. Yeah.
But now most people understand what it is. I think it's just the popularity of UFC and the whole. Anyways, so I'll go around and I'll talk about what jiu-jitsu is, and I'll be telling them, oh, like jiu-jitsu is like, to make it simple, I just be like, oh, it's like judo and like wrestling had a baby, and it's that. So and then they'll be like, oh, like, and then I'll add on and be like, oh, it's like, it really helps with your like self-confidence, self-defense, being able to control somebody when the situation is not so good, being able to get out of a situation when you have to. Then I'll talk about it. Then they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll take a fly, and then I'll put it in the lunchroom. I'm like, oh sweet, thank you. Yeah. I'm kind of like marketed that way, but I recently had a good chat with Z, one of our coaches at Albany, and he's like, kind of reminded me, like Jiu Jitsu is like, if you break it down to 4 steps, you know, like the John Danaher, he was like, you take somebody down, you pass their guard, you upgrade through a series of pins, and you submit it to somebody. I'm like, that's such a simple way of.
And where do leg locks fit in that system? They don't.
Yeah. So like to break it down 4 simple steps, I'm like, that's essentially it is the essence of Jiu Jitsu, right? So how I started Jiu Jitsu. So my background, I used to do Taekwondo when I was a little kid, like any other Korean kid would do. So
now it makes sense why you're flexible.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how to split my legs when I was young, but I think I still keep that flexibility. From
you definitely have better hips than most.
Yeah. And then growing up, so did that. Our family moved over to New Zealand, and then I didn't do any martial arts. You know, just going through college and things like that. But I had a couple of incidents during my years growing up in New Zealand where, you know, obviously the minority Asian didn't speak fluent English, you know, used to get kind of picked up on a lot, like, so whether it be, you know, making fun of me or things like that, and I would have to get into a bit of altercation sometimes, you know, just to protect myself and protect family honor, you know. So I still remember one incident where I got into a scrap back in college where, you know, I wasn't a naughty kid. I'll do my thing, you know, I'll study. I'm a good kid, right? And then I wasn't so loud back then. You know, I was a bit chubby, still am, but even chubbier. And you know, I was one of those quiet kids. And one of the Māori kid, he would pick on me, you know, and maybe because, you know, I wouldn't fight back or anything like that. I wouldn't fight fire with fire. I would just be like, I'll try to brush it off and things like that. And I think because I didn't fight back, he would like keep picking on me. And then it came to one point where he was mocking my parents. So my parents own a small Korean restaurant in Birkenhead, and I'm really proud of them for what they've done. Our family moved over because we didn't have, we weren't really fortunate with money, and this was when Korea was really suffering with from the global finance, and our family didn't have much money, so they knew that because me and my brother, they knew that there wasn't, for them, they didn't see any future in Korea because of the whole, you know, education outside of school and, you know, extra curriculums that you have to do. So they just knew, like they wanted to get out of Korea, so they brought us to New Zealand. And when we came, we literally didn't have nothing. So I think my parents only started with only $3,000. That was about 20 years ago. I think it's still good money. I don't know. But that was all they had in their pocket. So they came with $3,000 in cash, and then through like hard work, you know, or it's typical. Like I don't want to boast about it or anything like that, because I think all immigrant kind of family go through that phase. I'm sure you know. But similar friends that I would have, like immigrant family friends that I know of, and all go through this similar struggle. Anyways, so they work their ass off for and then where was I going with this? Anyway, essentially,
You picked on your parents.
Yeah. So going back, so I was very proud of my parents, you know, being able to provide for our family. They don't even speak much of English, even now, right? They, you know, get by with their daily lives, but like extensive English, not really. So, anyways, so the kid that was picking on me was making fun of my mum. So I was like, oh man, that really like that crossed the line. And then from then onwards, I was only seeing red. You know, and then I'm like, bro, like we're scrapping. So I told the guy that we're scrapping, and then the whole school actually came out and watched. Because it's been a thing that, you know, everybody knew about it, me being picked on and stuff. And then at lunchtime we met up, and obviously like the circle like formed. And this was in Birkenhead College, right? Okay. So it's like lot of Polynesians and a lot of Māoris, a lot of mixed culture, and yeah, it was a good day. So we started scrapping, and you know, he gave me one, I gave him a couple, and yeah, and then I think the teacher came around and then pulled us apart and stuff. So I was kind of.
Now wait, before we go from there, right?
Yeah.
What's that moment, right, where you go, lunchtime, it's going on, and then he's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And then you're just like sitting there, you're like,
oh, shitting my pants.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like I said, I enjoy the process. I don't like to show it up. Yeah.
I've had that a couple of times too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like we're just sitting there like next, like, you know, in a classroom, and we're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, it's just such a funny thing where we're like, you know, you can't back down because then you're seen as weak.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you're like looking across and you're like, you know, he doesn't want to fight you. You don't want to fight him. It's fucking half an hour to go. You're just sitting there. Fuck.
But for me, at that end, I was so like, because like I said, I was only so angry that I didn't even care.
Oh, okay,
like,
nice.
I was still scared. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, man, still have to, like, I was still until I had to throw my first punch, right? But man, I'm like, I still have to like, defend family honor, you know? You know, because I was I'm very proud of my parents, and I'm very thankful for what they've done, what they've provided for our brothers. So I'm like, you know, I wasn't having that. So like you said, like I was scared, but I still had to do it. Yeah. You know? So we started scrapping, and teacher pulled us apart and things like that. Didn't get in trouble, which was pretty cool. Didn't get detention or anything like that. So I was like, sweet. Because I was a good kid. Like, of course I didn't instigate the fight.
Yeah. Like the one time you have a fight, like after, you know,
And we had you know, people kind of, obviously some people were asked about what the situation was, and, you know, the friends, and knew that I was getting picked on a lot. So I think that had to help. So always growing up, always had that insecurity, like me not being able to kind of protect myself. Yeah. And I'm sure, like looking back at it, I'm sure my punches were pretty like bad in form, things like that. So I'm like, man, so went to uni and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I wish I knew. At that point, I'm like, man, I feel like I want to be capable of throwing a punch. You know, I'm a man, you know, I should know how to throw a punch. You know, I kind of had that face. I'm like, so I had a friend who was very like into MMA and stuff. So I was like, hey man, can you like teach me how to throw a punch? So I went to like his garage, and he taught me how to punch and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. And then I signed up to a kickboxing gym in Birkenhead. I think it's called Urban Sports now, but Greg, back then it was Elite ETK North. So Greg, who owns the Thai kickboxing there, so he was my first striking coach. So I learned a lot of things like Muay Thai kickboxing from him, and then kind of fell in love with like striking. Like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, beating people up. So and then that's when I found what MMA was. So in the UFC and things like that, started watching that, and then got me into the like MMA. Oh, so there's a whole art of like grappling. Oh, that's cool. So I went to the next closest thing from my house was Shuriken. Back then it was in Birkenhead, so I went to the Birkenhead location, had my couple of sessions there, and that's when I met Joel. Shout out to Joel Armstrong. Miss him. Anyways, and that's when I met Maddie as well, and obviously, so kind of my first training partners. Then Shuriken moved to Curry's Lane. I moved to so trained there for a number of years. Then started to learn. Oh, then I had my first fight. It was a grassroots fight, and then I was pretty okay with the striking. I think I had the guy that I matched up with was like at least like 15 kilos above me. Because like tall, jacked. I'm like, oh man, this guy's big. You know, and Jason being Jason, just fight him.
Yeah.
Okay. Scared, but I'll still do it.
Yeah.
So I had my first fight. I was first round. I was doing pretty okay, and I was giving a couple of things on the feet, and then the second round he decides to take me down, and from there I don't know what to do anything from there. So, oh man, while then I was still like training no-gi jiu-jitsu. But oh man, like I think I need to understand, because I felt confident in like punching and striking and kicking and things like that, but I wasn't really confident in my grappling. Then I, went over to Paolo. Hey, can I like learn jiu-jitsu? I was like, yeah, put on a gi. I'm like, oh sweet. And I still remember.
I actually think I remember that track, because I remember there was a grassroots, and I have a vague memory of like I didn't know it was you at the time, but then afterwards I connected the dots kind of thing,
right.
you know? And then I do remember like after that grassroots is when you showed up in the gi.
Yeah.
So I have very, very vague memories of that time. Yeah.
So, you know, over to Paolo, I'm like, but I was a student, so I'm like, it was expensive enough to pay for all the training for my MMA. I'm like, oh, Paolo, like I really want to train jiu-jitsu, but I just don't have money. And it's like, oh, that's fine. You know, just now I can say this, but he was like, he only asked for me very little money from me, but he just wanted me to come and train. So I still like, I'm very grateful for what he has done, because otherwise then if he said, oh no, you can't afford, no, don't train, you know, then I wouldn't have trained jiu-jitsu. I'm not here today, you know, like opening up a gym. So I'm always thankful for him in that regard. So
yeah, similar for me, because like obviously there was like the student discount, whatever. But even when like he was like, oh, we're doing like a contract and like a plan or whatever, I would literally work for this gardening, like 2 hours a week gardening for this old lady to afford the cash to give to Paolo to train. Yeah. So it was like, I can't like lock into anything, bro. Like I literally make the cash here and then I give it to you the very next week, you know? Yeah.
Because I was working part-time while I was studying. So yeah, all of that kind of, So then I started to put on my gi, and gis were expensive back then, man. Like to get a gi, and you have to, you buy like $100 gi, and you can't get in New Zealand or Australia.
Shipping, bro.
Yeah, you have to get it from MMA Warehouse from from the US, and the gi would, and sometimes they would have like these flash deals, and it's like, oh, buy one. It was like $100, sweet. New Zealand dollars, and the shipping's like 120. I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You know, it's like through FedEx and stuff.
And even if you didn't do that, you'd look at a website like, oh, $90, whatever, and it's like USD. You're like, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, saved up for like a couple of weeks, and then I essentially got a gi for myself, and then chucked it on, and ever since then haven't stopped. So and then through that I had a couple of more fights.
Oh, you did after that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had two. I had two more kickboxing fight, and then I fought in one of the Shuriken. It wasn't a Shuriken fight series back then, but it was one of the big shows that Shuriken hosted. And then I got my ass beat.
Happens.
Part of the game. So I think I was okay with the striking again, but I was just cardio like. Being on that big show, I'm like, friends are watching me. Adrenaline dump. Yeah. Of course, me being the idiot. Hey, man, guys, like, I'm fine. You guys want to come and watch?
Yeah, nah. I feel like if I ever took it, which I won't, because at this point it's like, who are they going to match me against? Some fucking killer Muay Thai guy, and I'm just going to get a head kick. But if I ever did one, I just like won't tell anyone, and just like rock up on the fucking fight, you know? Yeah.
So so like. But now I'm like involved in a bit of the MMA judging and stuff with the official NZMMAF. So I'm like seeing these guys go up on the cage. I'm like, man, I did that. Like, that's so cool that I did that in the past. But sometimes I want to, like, what if I had this jiu-jitsu now and I started my like grassroots route? Like, you know,
but again, then you'd get matched up with way worse, you know, like, because who takes fights against like a high level grappler, you know? It's like someone that's pretty confident they can keep themselves away and punch at long range or whatever, you know? So
I think I rushed, but I was 25, 24 when I had my first fight. So I'm like, but only was like white belt. So maybe if I was younger and had more experience in grappling, I think I would have been more successful in my record, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, the experience is.
I think huge. I think the experience is huge. Like it really helped for my jiu-jitsu matches. Like jiu-jitsu matches isn't as scary as what it, you know, comparing it to 100%. like a MMA fight, right? So yeah.
So my fights in primary were scarier than a jiu-jitsu match. That's for sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So that's how I started jiu-jitsu, and haven't stopped. Fell in love with it, and even ever since Joe took over North Shore, and you know started Syzygy, like just my love for jiu-jitsu has even grown even more, because it's not just about physicality anymore. It's a lot about because I was always the smaller one in the group back then, and getting thrown left and right, it just really hurt. Like my body hurt. Maybe jiu-jitsu isn't the right thing, but you know, as I started to train with Joe more, just learning, understanding like jiu-jitsu better, like not through feels or anything like that, but more like, oh, this is how you do things certain ways, and this is why you do it. This is the kazushi that we need to create, and this is the angle that we need to create in order to get the escape or whatever. So yeah, my love for jiu-jitsu has grown even more, and just learning those and passing it on, it's good. Life is good.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you? What made you stay in jiu-jitsu?
Stay in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, because I know how you started, right? Obviously, like the whole. I mean, go through that. And someone recently asked me, like, oh, like I feel like my jiu-jitsu isn't growing these days. One of my students asked, I'm like, yeah, that's part of the process. Like sometimes you just have to grind out the moment where you are stagnant, and you just have to grind through the time. So for me, what helped me stay in jiu-jitsu was just the people, and like believing that there's, after the stagnant period, there's gonna be a period of growth. So I just, because that was what was taught to me, and I just like, man, I'll believe in it. I'll just try it, and it has helped me. So for you, what was it?
Yeah, so I mean, at white belt, it was purely like I wasn't going to jiu-jitsu to learn jiu-jitsu or to be better at jiu-jitsu or to, I mean, obviously you know, that was the byproduct of like going there and being like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, okay, what do I need to do? You know, but my whole thing was like, I just don't want to be scared, you know? And like bro, a year plus like of my white belt days, every time I got in the car to go to jiu-jitsu, I was scared. And then I got to jiu-jitsu and I was scared. Yeah. And I was like, oh, the rolling's coming. Yeah. And then we'd do the drills and I was scared the rolling's coming. And then the rolling would come and then I'd get my ass beat. Yeah. And then it was kind of okay. Sure. But then the whole process would repeat the next day. Right. And then I'd just be like, I'm scared. Do it again. You know? So it's like, so for me, it was just purely like, I just want to because I just know like that's how it kind of works, right? Like if you like desensitize yourself to something, you expose yourself to that stimulus, eventually it just becomes like fine, you know? So purely like I just don't want to be scared of a physical confrontation. Right. I didn't really understand that would come. That comes once you are confident in your own abilities of what you can do to them. You know what I mean? Because the fear comes from, this person can do anything they want to me and I can't do shit about it. Yeah. You know, I didn't really sort of internalize that. I was just like, I'm scared. I'm just going to do the scary thing, you know? So I didn't even think that I would become skilled at this thing and that's how the fear goes away. Sure. I just knew I'm just going to keep showing up until the fear goes away. Yeah. And then without even realizing I was getting better. Yeah. And then, I don't know which happened first, where the new white belts joined and I smashed them as like a 1-2 stripe, whatever I was. And I was like, holy crap, you know? I've got the power. Yeah. Or I think Jared, one of the, he was kind of just got his blue belt at the time. Yeah. He kind of took me under his wing. He was like always like pick me for the, like drills and rolls and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like he kind of sees something in me or something. I don't know. Like I was just like, oh, you know, like this is cool. Like I know this guy doesn't have bad intent because he seems to care about me, even though he's smashing me. Yeah. So that kind of helped sort of like calm that sort of fear down a bit because I'm like, oh, like at least this guy's like, I know he's not like, he can do anything he wants, but I'm not in danger, you know? Anyway, so that sort of went on for a while. And before I knew it, I was like, I remember Dave came in for like to teach a class. And he separated the class into like the white belts and the colored belts. And I think Paolo took the colored belts. Yeah. And then so Dave was teaching the white belts. Yeah. Yeah. And he started showing gi chokes, obviously. Yeah. Because that's what Dave does. Yeah. Yeah. And so I just realized that he demoed on me every choke. I think he choked me like 35 times. I had a sore throat for weeks. But I realized, oh shit, there's like, I'm the top white belt. Yeah. Because
You're chosen.
Yeah, well, not one, I was chosen, but I looked around and I'm like, oh, actually, like, yeah, these guys don't know shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a fucking epiphany. I was like, what the fuck, you know? And then I got my blue belt and I was just like, okay, so if I can get blue belt, that means I can get purple. Like, it's not even about the belts. It's like the what it indicates, right? It indicates like an increase in skill level. So it's like if I can just do this and almost like don't even try to get better, but just by doing you become skilled, then that means I can just do the same and get purple, and then I can do the same and get brown, and then I can do the same and get black. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just never gonna quit. So I remember when I got my blue, I just knew I'm not like so I basically saw the process through experience as opposed to like, because people tell you, you know, just keep showing up and you'll get better, but you don't believe it. You know, it's like a rich person saying you don't get happy if you're rich.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Give me the Porsche and then I'll figure it out for myself.
Then I'll assist.
Yeah. Then I'll, you know, I'll make my mind up, you know? But it's pretty consistent where like, you know, Buddha became, you know, the story goes that he was a prince, right? Because he realized, oh, I'm not happy. And like, what's going on? Why am I not happy? You know, why am I suffering? Even though I'm in like literally the most prestigious position possible. So anyway, I kind of got it, you know, from that, whereas like through experience, he's starting to believe Morpheus. But yeah, you know, so
you've taken the red pill.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what's he doing? So I think that was the moment where I just knew, like, I sort of made a promise to myself that I'm just like not gonna quit. You know?
Nice.
And from there on, it wasn't even a question. Like it was never in my head where like, oh, like, am I gonna, like, that point basically onwards, I had a rule where it's like I can go to the gym. And as soon as I step foot in the door, I can come home. But I have to go.
As a promise to yourself.
Yeah, but I have to go. Like there's no way I can't go.
Yeah.
And I think I maybe like, you know, use that rule like once or twice a year. Like I still do it to this day. Sometimes I rock up and I'm like not feeling it. Go home. Maybe I'll kind of like do a couple stretches on the mat, say hi to the boys, gap. You know?
So that's the day when you
But like I swear to God, like having that option means that I actually don't use it very like it's like once or twice a year, like straight up. If that, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's what kept me in it. It's like the sort of seeing that process and like feeling the process, not so much seeing it. And as far as the plateaus, I think, again, I don't know if I was told this, but I think I saw that pattern enough times where it's like, I'll have a plateau and then it'll just be like, man, I'm just like grinding it out. And it's like, nothing's happening. And then I'll have a huge spike.
Yeah.
And then it's like pretty steady increase for a while.
Yeah.
And then it's another plateau. And you're like, fuck. And then it's like another huge spike. So it's like, nowadays, it's like, when I feel a plateau, I'm like, yo, bro, you guys ain't ready for this shit. You guys think you like, you know what I mean? Because part of the fun now as well is like competing with your mates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when we have a roll and then you catch me like 2 times in a row and I'm like, all right, let's go next time.
Well,
and then next time you're tired and I'm not. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it just goes back and forth like that where it's like, and it's just fun. Like, you know, there's no, obviously there's like healthy ego there, but it's like, you know,
it's to make us better.
100%, 100%. It's not like, oh yeah, fuck that guy and beat him. You know, it's like, and you know, I would never say like I don't talk shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's just purely like between us, we know. Oh, last week, bro, he fucking kind of fucked me up.
Oh, bro, like when you catch me, I'm like, fuck, it's coming up. I'm scared to roll you now.
But that's what I'm saying is like I'll have a real good day, you'll have a bad day, and then sometimes like it just goes 50-50, and then no one catches shit, and we're like, oh man, what's going on? You know, and it's just that fun like competitive thing.
It's good. It's healthy.
It's good. Yeah. But then at the same time, like that plateau, I get that like, oh, you guys don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on a plateau right now. Just wait, you know? So I get excited nowadays, but it's hard for a white belt to figure that out or to feel that.
Because they feel like that plateau or that stagnant moment is like going to be forever.
Well, not just that, bro. Imagine like, you know, it's kind of like how, you know, a year for a kid is so long because they've like their whole life is 5 years.
Yeah.
So another year is like, bro, it's like, well, I can't do the math now, but you know, 20% of their life or whatever the hell that math adds up to, right? But if you're 99, another year is like 1%.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like nothing. you know?
Sure.
So it's kind of the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, just like another little blip in the 10-year progress of like a jiu-jitsu, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. For a white belt, that's like all of their training time, you know?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm so glad I started jiu-jitsu when I was younger. Like, obviously the younger that I started, it would have been better, but I'm glad I'm still able to roll, still have, you know a bit about jiu-jitsu, and still, you know, I don't want to boast that I know everything, but I'm at a point where I understand a little bit about jiu-jitsu. I understand how to roll and safely, and at the same time have fun as well. So I'm like, I enjoy what I have in terms of my jiu-jitsu. I'm very happy with it. And yeah, I wish. I think part of me is like, I wish everybody that I know of. I used to be that guy like that opened my eyes. I'm like, anybody or any friend that I see, hey, you have to train jiu-jitsu. You have to love it. Like,
you go through. Everyone goes through that autistic like period where you're just like,
sure,
yeah,
sure. But now, yeah, I've learned not to come off like that. Now I've learned to socialize.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
but now, but yeah, I think it's cool. I think if you want to give it a go, like, give it a go. Like, you don't have to love it, you don't have to like it, but
hell, I didn't like it for a year and a half.
Yeah,
it sucked. It sucked for a year and a half. But
trust me, season 3 is gonna be good.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Like, but also depends what you want out of it, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You're gonna get fit. You know, you're gonna learn skills.
Yeah.
It might not seem like you're learning, but just wait till the new guy comes in and you're like, oh man, actually I am learning. You know, you're gonna, over time, you will build confidence. I mean, it depends how much time you give it, right? Because there's also like the fake confidence you get at blue belt, and then you get humbled again.
I went through that.
The Dunning-Kruger, bro, that shit.
Yeah.
I know everything. Yeah, I'm the man.
Bro, when I had my blue belt, I was like, I thought I was the man. I'm like, bro, don't mess with me. I'm a blue belt.
Yeah.
Then,
I mean, it is a like a genuine milestone, and 100%. You are fucking like a problem to someone that doesn't know jiu-jitsu.
Until you know that purple belt wasn't even going at hard at you.
Yeah.
And then they start turning up. I still remember when I first got my blue belt and I rock up to training, and everybody kind of wanted to roll with me. I was like, oh, it's a congratulatory roll. Like, people wanted to roll with me because, you know, oh, hey, you got your first blue belt. Let's have a first roll. And then all of a sudden they're like, going even harder. I'm like, oh, what's this?
They're trying to rip your head off. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I got my, like, it took me quite a while to get the blue. Yeah. Because by that time I was pretty okay with like I knew I could, you know?
Right.
It's almost like especially those first few belts, you almost want to get them to like later than you need to.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, at least you know you're there, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, oh, I don't know if I deserve it. Like, that's annoying to be at, you know? So now you're a black belt. You're a full-fledged, you know? Full-fledged for how long? A year, you said?
Got mine, I think, I got it when 2003. Oh, sorry, I got to sneeze. Oh, maybe not. 2003 end of year. So, year and a bit now. I think, 2023 or 2022. I can't remember.
Anyway, it's been a while.
Yeah. So at least a year.
So this is like I'm fascinated by this conversation because jiu-jitsu is very, with their belt system, it's very subjective. Every coach has a different outlook.
Yeah.
So break it down for me. Like what do you feel like now, based on your journey, based on your experience? What do you feel like is your sort of how you see like what the blue belt is, what the purple belt is, what the brown belt is, what the black belt is?
And well, for us, you know, like we've got our blue belt syllabus, you know. I think it's important that if you want to achieve blue belt, you need to know at least all the basic understanding of what jiu-jitsu is. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know every position, but you at least
and you probably don't know them well.
You don't know them well, but at least you dabbled in like a broad surface of what jiu-jitsu is. And then from blue to purple, I think it's kind of like you know what you like in terms of what jiu-jitsu is, and then develop your own kind of game as such. And they'll call it the game. But yeah, you pick the techniques or positions that you know really well. And then from purple to brown and brown to black, it's just
fine-tuning everything. Don't jump over it. Don't jump over it. Purple to brown. What's the...
I don't know. Like, I'm not good at jiu-jitsu, you know? Like, I don't, because, I don't know, maybe I put myself down, but like, I just don't think I'm in no way positioned to like justify what this is and this is and that.
I mean,
I'm not a great mind. I feel like it's like for people like John Danaher and like
no. So I think like because you've been through like through each bout, right? So you can kind of reflect your experience and like what you improved at each bout or whatever, and then you can kind of look around and be like, oh, you know, that guy got really good at this. Like purple was an easy one, right? Because you can kind of see people like building that funnel. Like I don't even like, you know, even as a blue belt, you can kind of tell like, bro, like that pro belt when he gets to this position, he will fuck you up, you know, and like you kind of like get a feel for that. So I feel like you can still, you know, you don't have to give like a philosophical answer of like
so for me it's
parable of the plank or something, you know.
Good. I don't want to be pretentious. So for me it's that like from blue to purple is like finding your own thing, and that's good. That's when I started to develop my hooks game and like a lot of those butterfly work positions. So and then from purple to brown is kind of like when you're confident to kind of pass on what you know, and then you're confident enough to be like, hey, I think you could do this better, maybe take it or leave it. Then brown to black is just time, I think. And I think also like at the end of the day, it's martial arts, right? I think it's important to look at their personal life as well, or like not to judge them per se, but like, you know, if a shy person comes in, or if the person is hot-headed and then they've learned to control that, I think that's an improvement, right? I think those kind of thing has to be credited for your development as well. To be like, oh, that person used to be a dick, but he's not anymore. He's very loving. Or, you know, if it goes the other way, I don't know. There's something wrong with the gym, right? But yeah, I think it has to be positive, whether it be you know, helping people out, helping the club, you know, being very sociable. Those good characteristics has to kind of come forward, because like you would expect a brown belt to approach a white belt and be like, hey, are you new? Like, can we help you, kind of thing? Or you know, you expect them to be like, hey, I don't think you're doing the technique right. Can I show you? And that's like with anything, right? If you go to a gym, there's like, you see a lot of videos of like gym people being really, you know, I don't know how to say it, like not nice to each other. But also you see some of these videos, are really cool videos, and like some like really experienced gym person will be helping out somebody that's new. Those kind of things. I think that's important. Those good character qualities, positive qualities need to come through. Because jiu-jitsu is funny. It's a single sport, but it's a team sport at the same time. Yeah,
right? You can't train without teammates.
Exactly, right? So it's how you care for your teammates is very important too. Because it's not just about your self-development, it's also about team development too. And I think that's what we were doing really well at Syzygy, HQ in Albany, you know, trying to help each other out and going above and beyond. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love that question, because everyone, like, especially now that I'm like dabbling a bit in judo, a bit more consistently, the way they look at belts is like very not very objective, but they have a lot more like, you need to know these things. And then like there is an element of like, oh, like how well you do in sparring and stuff, but I think they focus a lot more on like can you execute these things? Like, do you know these things? And then like some amount of sparring and some amount of this. Whereas I feel like in jiu-jitsu, it's like very vague, and it's very like, you're going to develop subjective. And like, like you're going to, you know, so it's just interesting, like everyone's perspective. I find it really fascinating. I don't know, like I'm just personally interested in that, because I feel like the belts, especially going through them, it is a model for a lot of things. Like you can kind of see that skill development. Like if you take, let's say, white to black belt as a 10-year process of doing something consistently, whatever that means to you. Okay. And then you take a different thing. Like let's say I want to learn guitar, and I spend 10 years consistently learning guitar. You can kind of see a similar progression. You can be like, oh, like, yeah, I'm kind of at like a blue belt level of maturity and understanding about this, where I actually feel like I know everything, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect. And then, but actually when you talk to higher level people, it's like, oh, well, I almost find like I give less concrete answers now than I used to.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, well, it kind of depends. You know, like, so then it's like, okay, I'm at that stage of my like guitar playing or whatever. Then I go to pro ball. It's like, oh, I'm really good at like this rhythm or this tempo or this style of finger picking. But maybe I need to like expand out, you know, and then like and then I'm just refining. And then I was like, you know, and so I just find that as a real useful model for almost. Sometimes I'll get frustrated that I'm not learning something new and not fast enough, whatever that means. Yeah. And then I go, oh, wait, it's that plateau thing. And then, you know, so I just see these sort of patterns and other things I'm doing. And so I just find that model quite interesting to talk about in general, you know?
So when I compare jiu-jitsu to something, I always compare it to a language. For me, it's like, because I speak Korean, I speak English, I speak a bit of Japanese, and I've started learning Chinese.
Cool.
For a year and a bit, and trying to learn like Chinese towards like my later part of my life, like actually learning a language. It's very difficult. But and I explained it like anybody that comes off, new person that comes to the gym, like, oh, remember, like you're learning a language. Like jiu-jitsu is a language, and it takes pretty long time to master something, right? Don't expect that you would. They go through one class, and I tell them, hey, you just learn how to like identify what an A is, you know, or like a B or C. So I think it takes time, you know. Obviously, there's way of articulating things much better in like grammatical sense and using different types of words, but more advanced words to articulate something, to write an essay, let's say, right? So some kid, like, you know, if you can only write like basic sentence, it's like blue belt. Or if you write something that's in advanced language, that's like brown belt or black belt kind of thing, because you know more tools and you know more words, you know more vocabs, you know more grammatic structure and things like that, and where to like put full stop and hyphens, and which I don't know how.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I like that model. Yeah, I would almost take it a step further and say it's like a debate.
Right.
You know? So like, you know, when you're a blue belt, you're like, no, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're like, pro belt, it's like, well, no, you, because.
Yeah, sure.
But I see what you're saying. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
And you know, some people are really gifted with language too, right? So some people, they might be just learning the language for about 3 years, and then they'll speak like a fluent person. So we know, you know.
Maddie McMeeking.
Yeah, well.
Blue belt winning advanced tournaments, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know? God damn it.
Man, he is a gifted kid.
Fuck's sake.
He is a gifted kid.
So frustrating.
Wanganui, you have a very special someone down there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, I mean, I think of it as a language, and yeah, some people are gifted, you know, at the world stage. I'll probably get wrecked by this purple belt that trains out of Brazil, you know, and they're just gifted, or they just train hard. Skill level's different. So that's the point where I'm like, like it's not about belt, it's about how good you are on the mats, regardless of the belt, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, Dylan gives me a hard time. Dylan gives me a hard time during our rolls.
Yeah.
He's a purple belt. Only been a purple belt. Even, you know, we asked Joe to give him a purple so that we look bad when he's smashing us, you know. Yeah. Obviously, he's got a bigger size and bigger strength, but his technique is on point too, you know?
Yeah. And it's like intuitive as well. It's and like, it's not
passionate about learning jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's like sometimes I don't think he can articulate what he's doing. It's almost like, I'm just looking for the leg.
Yeah.
And it's like, how?
Yeah.
It's like, I just grab it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You know, I can feel that, you know? Yeah. So that's what, there's definitely different aptitudes to things, you know?
It's cool. And I love it too.
And I think natural athletes are just really good learners. That's really what it is. Because I think like athleticism, it's like, okay, it's genetic and whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can be like a super genetic freak. What's that guy? That Russian Greco-Roman guy, that 300 kilo, never lost a match, whatever the hell.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That guy.
You know what I'm talking about. Or let's go Yoel Romero. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you can be like a genetic absolute mutant.
Yeah.
But also you can be like a Marcelo Garcia that apparently like Josh Wadeskin, who's one of a student, he's also a chess grandmaster, I believe. Oh, wow. He says Marcelo is like a very good low rep learner, meaning that he only needs to see it once, or he only needs to try it once, and he like can do it. you know? So it's like, I feel like at the highest level, like just especially in sports that are complex like jiu-jitsu, and it's not just like running or something, a lot of it is to do with how fast you can learn. Because given the same amount of time on the mat, that's essentially the bottleneck, right? Is like how quickly can I onboard like physical information, not just like up here, but like physically in the world, how, you know,
and you said it right, like it's two different things, like and that's the level of mastery, right? It's like you have you have a cognitive understanding or cognitive mastery of something. That's like you understanding with your brain, and then the second level of mastery is like the emotional, right? So it's kind of like, based on that cognitive understanding, you're familiar with it. So when something that happens, you have an emotion attached to it. You feel joy out of it because you know what it is and you've done it before, and when you're in a similar position, you understand what it is. And then it's the last bit of mastery is like physical mastery, where you have to like perform it and then put it in repetition.
And that can almost be subconscious sometimes.
Yeah.
Like some people, you know, like you'll see a wrestler, he'll cut a corner.
Yeah.
But then when you see him teach it, it's like he doesn't do that because it's just like in that moment he felt that he needed to cut the corner and he just went with it, you know?
And that's just physical and is drilled into his head, right? So it's not just about him understanding, I need to cut the angle this way or drop my knee here.
I almost want to say like it's almost drilled into his body. You know what I mean? Like his hands like just go. It's almost like he doesn't think about it. It's just, you know? Yeah.
And so when I teach kids, like even though I teach the same thing, some kids will just absorb it like a sponge, and some kids needs a bit more attention, and it's just different.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I also feel like it's hard sometimes, these like supernatural like athletes or learners, sometimes they don't appreciate how good they get. Like it's almost like because I had to work so much harder than some people, you know, I'm like, bro, I can't believe I'm like at this level.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's so great.
Yeah.
Whereas someone that's like a natural athlete comes in 6 months in, he's taking down high level people.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the parties start calling, you know, and the boxes of beers, you know, it's just like, it's too easy to be like, you know, I can always get that. I can always get back and get that.
Yeah.
But if you really work hard at something, it's almost like you appreciate it more as well, you know? So
you need like
both, you know, like it's like discipline
and gifted as well.
Yeah. That's so hard. Such a hard combination to find though.
But you need the right amount of tisms and
and
right
steroids.
Drugs.
Yeah.
And who do we know? But you know, it all comes. I think at the end of the day, though, like hard work is very important. You know, you just can't be gifted and have everything.
Well, there's always going to be someone that's gifted and works hard.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like you know you're going to beat people at the local club or whatever. But it's like if you try to take that anywhere, you know.
Have you been paying attention to a bit of the New Zealand grappling scene?
I mean, I guess in general.
Yeah. Is it like, because so many competitions now these days, which is cool. Like I enjoy just watching people compete. Because I'm not a.
I don't go to like, so it's hard. Like usually the weekends are hard to like make the comps, but I'll watch like if there's like footage online or anyone playing stuff. I'm just like,
I used to go before my boy was born, but now it's just a bit harder, but I still try to follow as much as I can. But cool events that's happening, like Stealth Submission Series, New Zealand Grappler, of course, like it was always killing it, and PGC, Professional Grappling,
they're doing cool stuff, like doing the super fights.
I think that's really cool. Like nowadays there's more
and I guess it's going to be good for our scene, like, you know, guys like Bilal. He's like going overseas to I'm not sure where he's training, but
I think he's.
I saw a post.
Absolute now.
Okay.
I think he's in Melbourne.
Okay. Because I saw a post and it was like, oh, he's gonna go far, and it was Bobby from B Team, the real tall guy,
right?
And then in the comments, Lachlan was like, indeed.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just like, okay, bro, fuck, man, you know. Do you need anyone else to like come here and, you know, tell you you're the man?
So Bilal's, I think, 2 weights higher than
I don't know, bro. He looks big at the moment.
He's
crazy.
He's tall and big and jacked.
Yeah.
You
had a match with him, man.
Yeah, I had a match with him twice and just wrecked me. But it was cool.
He's been doing that to everyone, so it's like
it's cool to like feel him, and I know that jiu-jitsu, like I can't be a competitor.
Yeah. But it's also like maybe don't compete 2 weight classes above you.
Well, I mean there was nobody.
Yeah,
so they just
I know. But as in like you could still compete in your own.
But it was fun though. Like his game was really cool. Kind of learned a lot.
He went false reap on one of them, right? From memory. Yeah.
He's a really cool guy too.
Leg entries. I wonder. Because it's like in New Zealand, I think the leg locks are still catching up. Like the Aussie boys are really, really on the frontier of the leg lock game. You know, guys like Levi, Lachlan, obviously. Kennard?
Oh, Josh Kennard. Yeah,
bro.
Oh, man, CJI.
Yeah. So I think like
it's a big upset.
Currently, in terms of leg locks, Australia is doing really well in terms of like the forefront. So, I really want to see him against, sort of some guys that are a little bit better at the leg lock game, and not just like better as in like, I play leg locks. It's like, because there's some specialists out there, and he's a specialist. It's as far as I can tell. So I want to see that matchup with it's like leg lock shootouts.
I think you do really well. I think he's got a good frame. He's big, tall,
and his entries are super sick too. Like he's
And it's not like
flexible as well.
I think his other games are overlooked, but like he's got.
I don't think we see them. That's the thing. Like we just don't see it because he finishes everyone with legs.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other cool guys on the scenes too. So like, it's exciting times for New Zealand grappling, I think.
Cool. One more question, and then we can wrap it up. Yeah. So, this one I've talked to a few people, and I'm curious what you think, because you kind of got into it for self-defense, confidence.
Yeah.
You've had some fights.
Yeah.
What do you think of the gi?
Gi.
As far as fighting. Oh. Like, do you think it's useful to know the gi game?
Absolutely not.
For fighting.
Nah, I don't think you need to train gi. Yeah.
Okay.
If you are purely focusing on like MMA,
I'm not talking MMA.
Oh,
I'm talking like self-defense. Like
self-defense.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. I think not many New Zealand people wear quotes. So do you really need to learn gi? I don't know. Lapel chokes? I don't know. I think it's gi jiu-jitsu. I think it's more for sports, I reckon. Like application wise, but all right,
I'm gonna push back on this.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people wear hoodies,
yeah,
right? Like you are wearing now.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not as like transferable as like a lapel. So like if fucking like a suit is very transferable, but if you're fighting people in suits, like what the hell are you doing? It just seems like
have you seen those suit jiu-jitsu?
Bro, there's a classic video of like some Japanese parliamentarian fighting, and the guy does like Tomiyonage off the lapel grip.
It's a face palm. It's a Korean government.
Oh, Korean. Okay, rip. Okay, I just assumed it was Japan because Japanese usually do judo.
Yeah.
But that's so funny.
Yeah. That's so funny, yeah.
So like if you're fighting people in suits, like what, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna defend myself just for people in suits.
Yeah.
Doesn't make so much sense. But I think hoodies are pretty common. I think you can use t-shirts relatively well. Like they're gonna rip, but you can use kazushi off them.
Yeah.
Like for me, just because I've been doing a bit of judo with Linton, and I'm just thinking, bro, if I'm not naked on pavement, I will die. Like if he grabs me, I'm fucked, bro.
That's
like
sure.
Straight up, like I like it's not even the throw, it's the fucking kazushi that he generates off your lapel.
Right.
Like literally, like my head rattles every time he pulls.
Gotcha.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard about good things about the.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts, bro. Like it's actually nuts, and like I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
Like obviously not to his level, but it's so like and then thinking about combat sambo, which I think is like probably one of the better, like in terms of like, I don't know, just like, if I'm just looking for street fights, combat sambo is pretty good because it's a punch, clinch, headbutt, throw, submission. Like
it's got everything. It's
bro,
MMA.
but with headbutts and with a gi on.
Yeah.
The only thing is like you can, like the rule set, I would want to see the same situation, but in an open rule set. Right. As in like, so you're not, because punches don't score in sambo. You can win by ippon, I think. Or pin, I'm not sure. But like, let's go like fucking 2 submission or knockout with a gi on, headbutts allowed. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. And I just feel like that is actually a pretty good representation of like a fight with clothes on.
Right.
But maybe I'm like being romantic about it, you know.
I guess though, yeah. Someone grabs you on the collar, like grabs you on the gi like this, or on your clothes, like probably need to understand like how to get this off. You know, someone grabs you really tight,
or how to
like
use
this.
it to throw them. You know, because sometimes they can be pushing into you, and you know.
Yeah. But like if you see all these videos, they always take their shirt off for their fights.
But why does that happen, right? You know?
Yeah.
But so that's why I feel like maybe like I think you should train everything, but I feel like I feel like the gi is overlooked as a tool because it's such a meme. Like people just pull and go fucking De La Riva and Barambolos and stuff, and I'm like, fair enough, I love
Try
that.
to do that in concrete.
No, I love, and I feel like if I lowered myself, it'd be okay, but I wouldn't want to risk them slamming me or kicking me in the head.
Gotcha.
But I'm just saying, like, I just feel like people overlook it because it's such a meme. But I think like if you fit your game specifically for it, it would probably look more like Sambo.
Yeah.
But I still think it's useful.
Yeah. But like I like the bit we said like you need to train everything. You know, like I don't think jiu-jitsu is the one silver bullet. Like you've got to train wrestling. Like that's how we started to be but really successful in some of the local competition, was that we were you know, really focusing on our takedowns and like wrestling, right? And we really like everybody sucked at wrestling for about a year and a bit, and then everybody built confident in like stand up, right? And I felt that during my competitions, right? I wasn't really scared because I used to pull guard.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to waste energy.
Back in the day we used to jump guard, so at least you're pulling, you know, and not blasting someone's knees.
My strategy is like I don't have good cardio. You know, like look at me. I don't have a body of an athlete.
Yeah.
So when I would go to local competitions, I would just pull guard because most of the time I don't want to waste my energy or my cardio trying to like take somebody down for the sake of getting 2 points, you know, like so like when we started to change it up and we were very submission focused and trying to have like exciting matches and try to take people down and go for subs rather than control, or like control to submission but rather than like points, I think like our club just developed as a whole. Yeah, so going back to the point, like I think it's important to learn all the aspects of different, like it's important to learn everything, right? Learn how to kick, learn how to punch, learn how to, I don't want to say aikido, but you know, maybe there's some benefits to it, you know. Tony Ferguson, he does Wing Chun, you know, that helped. Do you see him using it in one of his matches?
I didn't, but yeah,
it's like hand wrist controlling and things like that. But obviously, like, not one martial art or one aspect of martial art's going to help with everything. But if you mix it up, and that's why I think MMA is super cool, is you can like mix different things and get something that's very efficient.
Yeah, but that's my I guess my point is that the MMA removes the gi for sporting purposes.
Sure.
Which I understand and it makes sense, but it's like almost like MMA then is the thing to do for street fighting.
Right.
When I'm like, bro, if you're wearing something and someone that knows how to use it, like look at like hockey. Yeah. Ice hockey.
Yeah.
Bro, like those guys just, you know what I mean? Like that's not like, if you get in that situation, you're not like finding your range. You're just locked in and you're throwing and receiving, you know what I mean? So it's like,
I don't, when you're just talking about ice hockey, I didn't know that ice hockey, like it was a thing. I thought like bench clearing, I thought it was obviously knew about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was like that, like, I guess the athletes are expected to actually fight in every hockey match.
They're like given timers.
They're given time that you can throw punches. I'm like, oh,
and apparently like throwing is illegal.
Right.
Because like why don't they like do a judo throw or something? Like no, it's
maybe
not,
the blades.
not allowed.
Maybe the blades.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was actually there's a given time where you can start.
It's so crazy, Like it's so insane.
It's an actual blood sport.
It's so insane. They're all like missing teeth and shit. It's so funny. But
cool. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun, eh?
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm glad you enjoyed the magic. It was cool to hang out.
Honestly,
and chat.
I haven't been scared in a long time, so like that. Because last time we caught up in Joe's place, we were. And then you showed us a couple of things. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, crazy.
Cool.
Awesome.
Shout for coming on.
Thanks,
Where can people find you? Where can people find the gym?
Yeah, Syzygy.Albany is the Instagram handle. We're in Albany. Me and facility. So I've spent
I can confirm. Yeah, it's really cool.
I've spent some my professional power into it. So yeah, the place is mint, and we've got some great people coming up and training. So it's a real friendly environment at the moment. You know, obviously we want to build up the
You say at the moment like it's going to change. It's always going to be a friendly environment.
It's going to be a friendly environment, but we're going to look to develop a bit more the competition side, because I know people want to compete a bit more. But it just, at the moment, it's just because we're new. Everybody's trying to find feet, trying to learn what jiu-jitsu is. So if you want to ever start a jiu-jitsu, it's a great time to join us and get into it. And yeah, I think yeah. So find us on Syzygy and Syzygy Albany. So we've got both locations in North Shore. So one in Wairau and one in Albany. So
all the links will be in the description. Yeah. SYGYZY. No. ZYGY.
Demotion.
SY
ZYGY.
ZYGY. There we go.
No vowels, guys.
Yeah. Syzygy .Albany. All right, shot.
Sweet
one more time.
Thanks,
Nick, Kim.
Cheers.
Catch you later.